On Veterans Day and Remembrance Day, we invite you to rise and start your day with Mornings in the Lab. Endorphins are running through my brain this morning, nation. Good morning. I'm Keith Billis, and this, oh, baby, no, this isn't your normal, typical morning show. No. Fair warning. We keep it raw. We keep it R-rated in here. Get those kids around on this Veterans Day, Remembrance Day, whatever the hell day it is in John Anderson's loop. Yeah, you got to put the headphones on or walk the children out of the room because they might be offended by something Christina Flynn says later this morning. You never know. Or Marty might drop a bomb. And Johnny's got things just coming out of it we know John's got something to say. Listen, this morning, the show is packed. Yes, Dr. John Page is joining us for Center Stage and Deep Dive. Listen, Johnny's a pastor. No, not Anderson. Johnny Page is a pastor. And he's a spiritual leader who strips away the bull. And shows you what's really holding you back. Jory Jansen's here dropping in later today with some holiday nutrition tips. Holidays are around the corner. We thought we'd start thinking about how business athletes can fuel themselves as they get through the holiday season here. I'm going to be one-on-one with John Anderson later this morning in the gym, and Christina are going to break down the truth about purpose in business and branding. Listen, quick headlines before we dive in, though. Month. Yeah, it's November right now. It's November 11th today as I date the show. Yeah, no month is here. And we are in our second weekly loop of the month. The first loop separated the talkers from the doers. Which one are you? And hey, listen, if there's something that's holding you back this month, don't wait for everybody else for the January resolutions. No, don't wait. Get started right now. Say no to something so you can say yes to what you really want to do. Yes, true story. And also, listen, the League of Business Athletes is out right now. Applications are live. 10 men, 100 days, 100 hours, 0 compromises. One result, success. It's inevitable. Listen, if you're going to hang out with Anderson and Billis and Marty and Flynn and Adam House and AJ Zaglin and Jory Jansen, success is inevitable. Yeah, that's the sound. Yeah, true story. Success is fucking inevitable. Listen, if you're getting value from the show, and I don't know how you couldn't be, frankly, you got to follow us. You got to hit the subscribe button. You got to like the show. And then listen, if you don't, just go somewhere else. Go tune into some other show. But if you're looking for a reason to help yourself be held accountable, this is the show you want to be on every single day, 8 o'clock Eastern time, Monday to Friday. But listen, let's get into it. Jimmy, I'm going to pivot over here. We know how this works over here. Let's bring the crew up on stage. We got Marty in black on black with the red headset. We got Johnny.
Baby blue.
Oh. That's not baby blue. I don't even have my navy. Thank you. Okay. Marty, go ahead and hit the button. Correct Uncle Keith over there.
It's okay, man. You know, I still like
good. We got Johnny. Christina, Marty, look at Johnny. It's all in black on black. He's got the light on his face over there.
Silhouette, like the tall glass of water silhouette.
Like, who is this guy there? He's just American as fuck today. And I like how the camera angle is a little bit different too. You guys noticed it?
Because my videographer's here.
Yes.
And we have just been crushing. He's been working me to death. And so he was in the studio. He's like, look, we got a new cameras. We got to set this up because it's time to get you into the front row of this whole studio. The studio's here, but you're still looking straight into your goddamn computer. So we got the tripod over here with a camera staring at me, fucking wires going everywhere. I said, look, dude, you got to make it simple. I need one plug. So all I got to do is plug in one fucking thing and I'm up and running.
Hey, Johnny, one thing he did not tell you is that your front-facing camera is actually the tripod. So that's the one that's going to show us your face.
I know it, but as I understand it, that when I'm not looking directly at the camera, it's a different new vibe that seems to be sweeping the the internet, social media, whatever you want to call it. So I've been
So
scaring
proud
out
of you.
everybody
Okay.
for months now. This is supposedly the new thing. So
I
here
like
I
it,
go.
Johnny.
So it's hard
like-
to do that. So Jimmy, from now on for the rest of the show, I'm going to do this.
And I'll talk like this.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to symbolize somebody else filming you. Does that make sense? That's what it's supposed to look like. Somebody else
I
is
like
in a
it,
room.
Johnny.
Somebody else is in a room filming me. That's what it's supposed to look like.
Well,
I like
it looks like it too, bro. You're looking really good there. Johnny's got the black on black with the American is fuck t-shirt. And today's a great day. Veterans Day, Remembrance Day for all of the heroes here in North America that give us the freedom that we all have here. And Johnny's celebrating now with that American is fuck t-shirt. Of course, Marty's got the navy blue, not the baby blue, navy blue shirt on here today, the red headset. I'm black on black, white hat. And Flynn is in the black on black with the white headset. How are you guys today? We just wrapped up a 2-day weekend loop here. What is shaking today? Let's go around the table. Flynn, I feel like you haven't been around for a couple of days. You've been busy. You've been active with life and family and so forth. How are you today, Christina Flynn?
I'm doing good. As being the mom of 2 young kiddos, life is always an adventure. And so we've got one home sick today. However, as I know you played the video on Friday, little guy.
He played the video more than a Friday. He played that video every day.
Banksy he's getting better. He's not throwing insane tantrums over the soother. We are slowly, it took 6 days, but we are on our way out. So his addiction was strong.
Yes. Oh, you mean this one here?
Of course, yes.
That's crazy, man.
And just so you know, Christina, I actually shared a story where like my middle daughter was really in the same position. I shared a story. It was brutal. So I actually shared a story to back you up of how nasty going through that is. So I feel
you know what? You got to feel for them. You got to feel for them because they're babies. Get over it. They're addicted. Like when I took that away, it looked like my daughter was a heroin addict. Like she was like, where is it in your pocket? Like she was just like, just a little, give me something. So it's real. It's hard for them.
I can remember a few times she was crying. I was crying. It was like, you don't get to put your kid in timeout and leave. You're in timeout with them.
Yeah, you stay.
It doesn't work when you just walk away. You got to sit there and you got to go through it with them. So I feel for you.
Doesn't it make you wonder why we do it? Why we hook our kids on these addictions? And then, hey, Marty, I'm taking this addiction away from you now, and you got to figure it out. Oh, by the way, you're 5.
Make our lives easier, and then when it becomes inconvenient for us, because like his teeth were starting to push out, he's going into preschool, then we take it away. So it's all about our own selfish needs.
It's true.
Isn't that true? Yeah, it's so true. And now that the iPad has come into play,
we don't mess around with the iPad.
And I'm so
not
happy
yet.
to hear
not
that.
yet. It will happen. And I think Keith has made me aware of this. He had a great point. He said we always talk about these devices as consumption devices, but they are also creation devices. And there's a lot of things you can do artistically on an iPad that you don't really think about. But yes, 5 and 2, we have not ventured into the iPad yet. Trying to keep it as minimal as possible for now.
Yeah, and that you said so powerful, because what is the device? Is it a soother or is it a creating device? That's such a great way for. I don't think people need to hear that. That was really powerful shit.
That's Keith. All Keith.
I talk about it all the time. It's funny because we were Lauren and I were sitting yesterday having coffee, and we got the old pop-up on the Apple device yesterday from Brooklyn going, wanted to download an Illustrator, like a creation, like a drawing thing. I'm like, I could not approve it quick enough. Yeah. Because I said to Lauren, I said, the parents that are saying no to their kids right now because they don't want them to be on the iPad, we're setting Brooklyn up ahead of those kids because we're encouraging her to create. So nation, think of the iPad as a paper tablet for your kids to be drawing on. So anyways, Marty, I know Dad was in town. Marty, how was your weekend, brother, with Dad and hanging out with the family? And how was your weekend, pal?
It was good. I wanted to add something to that real quick before I answer. I had this client, and he didn't let his kids watch TV. And they took a trip to Disneyland, and he was like, my kids don't watch TV, so they don't know any of these characters. Wow. So it's like they're looking forward to it, but they don't know like how exciting it is as a kid because so. But his kids are going to be super smart though. So
that's pretty cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, I had a good weekend. Dad was in town with my little sister and stepmom, so that was cool.
That's awesome.
They honored his championship team at Georgetown.
Yeah.
So we got to walk on the court at halftime. So that was
That's
pretty cool.
awesome.
Yeah, I went. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree for Marty, I think, there, Flynn.
I didn't win the national championship and make history, but
There you go.
yeah,
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Johnny, how about you, brother? I know you've been actively creating content all weekend. You said your videographer's in town. How are you?
Oh, John,
I'm
I like the
tired.
content. I like the content. The store stuff, that was good. I like that.
Right on.
We
right
need
on.
more of it.
That was some of it right there. Yeah. That was so I'm tired because he pushes me. He's in town. He's look, we're going. I mean, I finish as soon as I finish with this, he's outside the door waiting. As soon as I open the door, I'm gonna have a camera in my face.
Rock and roll.
That's
it. But along with that, we had an interesting little twist. So we're out to dinner. Obviously, live hard, play hard. So we're out to dinner with some friends and literally get back in the car coming home. And Harry gets her phone, and she's got a message from her best friend that unfortunately her best friend's daughter passed away.
Oh my God.
Yeah, for us, man, it just fucking hits home because we have daughters ourselves.
Yes.
And she was really she was the age of our oldest. You know, they played together when they were young. So it was really tough to stomach. And so Terry actually she's en route right now. She's with her best friend, and they're actually going up to Seattle where she was. Unfortunately, she was an alcoholic. She had herself in a tough spot. But anyway, Terry's now doing what best friends do, supporting her friend so they can go into the apartment where she died and gather the things that she needs to get home. So it was an emotional weekend for sure. It's still going. They're not quite there. They're actually they should be there later today.
I'm sorry to hear that, John, for you.
The silver lining in the whole thing is
I know you always find it.
It just makes you realize that you can't overlook the smallest moments in life because it's so volatile. And it just makes me think, man, number one, makes me so grateful for my girls and the fact that they're okay. And then for Terry, she's grateful for the fact that she can be there for her best friend. So it's as traumatic as it is and was, there's still a way to look at it in a regard from the perspective that can bring happiness, joy, support, help, whatever you want to call it. So just remember, everyone, even the worst situations can bring some sort of I hate to use the word happiness, but to a weird way, every situation has the ability to bring some sort of a new dimension to your life.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Tina, I'll tell you, Marty, since I've met John here, he certainly has he's encouraged me to look at life differently. And I knew, John, you were going to take us down this path, which I really appreciate. You take the time to create the awareness, to provide the empathy, but then in your own way, you also you give us the opportunity to recognize that life is precious and that find a way to turn this tragedy, this difficult time, into a continuum, into perhaps a loop that you talk about, right? Because this young lady who's passed, while we don't want to lose sight of that, for her family and for you and Terry and your family, it's finding a way to continue, and it's finding a way to take that and turn it into something instead of nothing, right? And I got to tell you, man, I really appreciate that you've taught me since I met you. I really do.
And let me give you a perfect example. I always send my morning texts to my mom, my wife, and my daughters. And after this, that next morning, those morning texts were a little bit deeper, a little bit more sincere. I reached a little deeper into my soul.
I bet.
To pour into them a little bit more. And so only because of her passing, it prompted me to take another step in my journey. And so again, just try to look at everything that comes your way as an opportunity, good or bad.
That's it. Thanks for sharing that, John. Thanks for sharing that. Good morning, Mike Quinlan. Good to see you here this morning, my friend. Semper Fidelis, happy 209th birthday, U.S. Marines. Mike's joining us here this morning, of course, from Peru, honoring our Veterans Day today here, honoring our veterans. Good morning, Jack Dugan. I see you here as well, brother. Good to see you. I know Christina and you've been chatting as well, and Nation Marty. We got Dugan here joining us every single morning. You know what he's doing? He's crushing his goals every single day. He's using this show as his accountability. Guys, his free accountability partner. Doesn't cost him nothing. All he has to do, guys, that's crazy. Everybody's looking for this magic. All right, what's the magic? What's the potion? Jack discovers this show. And then you know what he does, guys? He wakes up. Yeah. He just wakes up every single day. and he gets up with us, and then he just starts his day. And it's incredible how magic happens when you show up every single day. So, Jack, good to have you here this morning, every single day with us here on Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. All right, so listen, let's get to the accountability check-in. We have somebody hanging out with us in the green room. Dr. John Page is ready to rock and roll here. So, Jimmy, let's do this, man. Let's get this sound going here. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So do we do glasses or no glasses today? Let's do glasses. Yeah, let's do glasses. All right, listen. Your next 24 hours, they're already decided. Yeah, true, they're going to happen. You don't even fucking know it. They're happening. They are happening whether you like it or not. But those 24 hours that are already decided, they're not by your goals. They're by your habits. Let's take a few moments to change that. Here's the truth. Every morning, you make a choice. Not about what you'll do, about who you will become. So as you're listening to my voice, I'll make a decision. Are you rolling over, hitting the snooze button, or you're becoming something more than you were yesterday? Listen, most people start their week with big dreams, fresh motivation, new promises, all of these things. But here's what most happens with most people. The motivation that they ramp themselves up with for Monday, that dies by Tuesday. Yep. Promises done by Wednesday, dreams are pushed to someday. Oh, and then they show up in January for January resolutions. And why? Because they're trying to become someone new while keeping those old habits. Think about it. Yesterday, not going to work. Nope, not going to work. Trying to build something real while maintaining comfortable lies. Yeah, lies. Here's your reality check this morning, nation. You need new standards. You don't need more motivation. You need better decisions. You don't need another fresh start. You don't need another system. Ask Dugan. He just got up and just kept showing up. You need to stop stopping. Yeah, you need to stop stopping. The next 24 hours are coming, regardless if you like it or not. They are on their way. So here's the decision you have to make. Are you building who you want to be? Or are you maintaining who and what you've been? Listen, drop in the comments. Don't drop it for the accountability, though. No, drop it for the permission to raise your standards. That's the accountability check-in. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. A little bit of morning advice to help you prevent that snooze button first thing in the morning. All right, listen, the reality check might sting, but sometimes one moment of truth changes everything. Tag someone who needs to hear this message and get them invited and get them excited about the show. All right, Jimmy, let's bring up Jack. Is it Jack? No, it's Dr. John Page. Let's do that. That morning scroll, that snooze alarm, that rush routine, they're not just habits. No, they're blueprints for your entire life. And today's guest, Dr. John Page, has seen this pattern over 1,100 times. Dr. Page has spent 25 years watching people chase purpose in all of the wrong places. Now he helps them build it, and he doesn't just do motivation. He doesn't do cookie cutter. He shows you how to turn your mornings into momentum for the life you actually want. Dr. John Page, welcome to Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, my friend. Awesome. Thanks, Christina. So we got Dr. John figuring that out here in a quick second. There he is over there. Get him on the horse. And we're gonna get your camera turned on the horizontal as well. And while you're doing that, I'm gonna acknowledge we got Rick Klepke joining us here. Happy Veterans Day, suiting up and showing up as always for this great start to my day, week. Love it. Rick, we always love you hanging out with us here in the morning as well. I'm just gonna do this right now with Dr. John. It's gonna pull John off the vertical stream here. And of course, we got Shelly Spence joining us as well. Good to see you, Shelly. We got Archibald Z joining us somewhere, Marty. I'm not sure where Archibald's joining us from. And who else we got here in the comments here? We got Sketchuan from the Philippines. Yeah, good to see you here, Sketchuan. Arculus, good to see you here as well. Listen, if you're flipping into the show right now, this is live. Yeah, I'm talking to you live right now. So drop us a comment in the feeds and let us know what you have to say. And if you're lucky, you might get a word out of Marty's mouth here this morning here. So we've got Dr. John working on the horizontal page as well.
Hey, Keith, I just got to jump in and say, brother, your segment was great this morning, brother. That was really good. Yeah, really good. I love I don't feel like standards, we talk about standards enough, because when it comes down to it, people talk about goals, right? And they talk about habits, and that's great too. But what is your standard? Is your standard that you're going to actually execute those habits? My standard is when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And if we don't set a standard for ourselves, we don't honor that standard, it's almost like the first domino.
Why do you think it's so hard, Johnny, for us to honor our standards? Like, why do you think so what's your opinion on why do you think it's so hard for us? And then Marty, I'm gonna ask you the same question. Why do you think it's so hard for us, Johnny, to do that?
I truly believe it's because we learn from the people around us that people say they're going to do something, they don't do it, and it becomes accepted. It's like people eat fast food and it's accepted. And just because other people do it, unfortunately, people tend to be a little sheepish. They get in line. If everybody else is in line, a lot of times there was a study where a line was formed really quick in a busy place, and a bunch of people got in that line, like a shitload of people got in that line. They had no idea what the line was for. They just got in line because everybody else was forming the line quickly.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what's crazy to hear you say that too, Johnny, is looking at, and we're going to talk to Jory Jansen this morning about good foods to eat. What's crazy is, and Marty, I was thinking about you when I saw this article, but I found a big story that I wanted to laugh with you guys about this morning. So listen to this. 52 Veteran Day food deals. Listen, Applebee's, Buffalo Wild Wings, California Pizza Kitchen, Carabao's Grill, Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen, Chili's, Chi-Chi's Pizza, Cracker Barrel, Dave & Buster's, Denny's, Dunkin', Fazoli's. My point is, we're trying to get humans to think differently, yet every single mofo crazy ass restaurant have this big article about all the free food and big back building activities that they're giving nation to put onto their body. C Marty Fit and John Anderson.
I guarantee Marty deals with this too. We get clients moving in the right direction, and the people that are taking them off track are the ones in their circle. It's the friends and the family. They're going out there. I just had a client was like my wife's and my in-laws. They're just always giving me shit when we go out to dinner. Okay, what are you ordering? Are you not ordering? And he goes, no. He goes, I'm just ordering healthy. I'm ordering chicken and I'm ordering broccoli and I'm ordering rice. And they're wondering why I'm not getting pizza and a hamburger. I said, listen, you just have to stick to your guns, because as soon as they see that you're actually honoring your word to yourself, they'll honor your word too. But I think that goes right back to what we're saying, is that we learn it's okay to just follow the lead, and the lead tends to do the easy shit. And that emphasizes all the food deals that you just described.
Well, it's funny, Johnny and Marty, because I didn't see a big article talking about going to Whole Foods or to your local farmer's market where you can buy whatever, beets and cabbage and everything 50% off. So nobody's encouraging Marty to go to the farmer's market just up the road in Maryland for vegetables 50% off. Instead, they're going, hey, Marty, come to Chili's for 75% off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was going to add too, you can, I'm going to try to sound nice here. All right.
Hold on, Johnny. Hold on.
I'm going to try to sound nice here.
Flaring up here.
You can live under your standard and still be accepted and still live a comfortable life. Yeah. So John's client, if he goes to Applebee's with his family and he wants to not follow the meal plan, his family's going to tell him, oh, it's okay. Yep. You don't have to follow John Anderson. You don't have to listen to John Anderson. It's only one day. How bad is it going to be? So people are just going to accept it. So you can build the big back and nothing will happen.
Yeah. Because it just happens. It's going to accumulate along the way. And that's why, again, I found this article and it just shines a light on. And listen, I'm not perfect. And listen, nation, if you're making the decision today that you're regretful of, I want to also invite you to do this. And because this is what we also stand for in the lab. It's okay to begin again tomorrow. It's okay to begin again later today. So if you find yourself making a decision you're not happy with, don't beat yourself up on it. I've done it enough. So is Johnny. So is Marty. The permission is, fuck, I made a mistake with my decision right now. Start again.
Let it roll off your back and don't carry that shit forward. Yeah. If you made one mistake, you got to make 5 more.
Yeah, well, that's where people mess up. They make one mistake and it's, I might as well just go all in and continue to mess up every day.
Off the edge of the cliff they go.
Why'd you think that was a good idea?
I've been there. I know myself, like my daughters are always like, come on, it's become like a game when they were, come on, Dad, just have one bite. And I'm like, kiddo, okay. I'll say, listen, if you want me to eat the rest of your shit, give me that bite, because if I eat that bite, I'm gonna eat the rest of yours. I'm gonna eat the rest of whatever's in the house, and I'll probably grab the keys and go to 7-Eleven and eat the rest of theirs. So, do you really want me to take a bite? And I know if I take that bite, I'm sliding off the edge. So I just don't get close to the edge.
Yeah, that's discipline. And the thing is, so here's the thing too, right? And I'll be honest. I'm gonna get up. So I'll just be frank with Nation here. So I went out with the family last night, had some family dinner, and ate rich food. Just gonna put it out there. Had some rich food, and boys, I'm gonna tell you right now, man, my gut today is paying for it. And Johnny, you know exactly what I had. Johnny, I could use a bidet in my house right now. Is all I'm saying. I could use a yeah. Marty, I don't need to hear what you have to say. I'm just telling you, I could use a bidet today.
We don't need anybody else on the bidet train on this show. We got John. That's enough.
Brother, listen.
We don't need any more people on the bidet train.
All I can say is this: once you try it, you'll be forever changed. You can't unring that bell. There's something. It's like, how's this? If you pick up a dog turd with your hands, God forbid, are you just going to use a piece of paper to wipe it off? No, you're going to use some water to clean that thing. What is different with your bunghole? Give the cutter some respect. Clean it with some water. You're just wiping on that thing with a tissue and then you're done? No, that's nasty as hell.
So we got Dr. John Page joining us here. Here's what we're going to do, Jimmy. I'm going to throw the question we like to throw every single guest when we start this segment with the guests is how do they start their morning routine? And then, John, we're going to step off for a quick second. Marty's going to do a fit tip. We're going to come back and continue the conversation. So Dr. John Page joins us here today. We got the tech all sorted out and really excited to have Dr. John here today. Dr. John Page, every single guest we ask this one question, most important question. Brother, how do you start your morning routine? What is your morning routine? And if you have no morning routine, we'd love to hear that too. But Paige, how do you start your day, brother? What time do you start your day? What time do you get up? And what's the first few things you do every single day?
I start about 4 a.m.
Yes.
And I feel like I should be like this so I could be like John, get a camera action going. I feel like I'm like less, like I'm at only 80% if I don't have this cool camera angle. But
real quick, brother, I got to tell you, yesterday when this whole thing was getting set up, I told his name's Ben, really cool cat, become a good friend of mine now. I said, listen, give me back my fax machine, give me back my straightforward camera angle. This is like shit this is way beyond me here. I got cords going everywhere. I want my fax machine. I want my straight ahead camera. So I'm struggling right now, just so you know. It's not as easy as it looks.
No, I hear you. I'm on a refurbished laptop that's like weighs 5 pounds. I'm with you. I just wish I had your radio voice of whiskey over gravel. It's
okay. I can't. That's something I can't help you with that one. But I'm totally with you. I got my computer's an old sack too. That's why I got this camera over here, because the camera on the machine is archaic. I got it with the fax machine.
Oh man.
Well, I'm learning from you already. To answer your question, Keith, your question, I start about 4 a.m. because that's when my body says, wake the hell up. So that's what I do.
Oh, baby.
Before I get out of bed, I go through 3 phrases. It's better than coffee because coffee lasts, it smells great, gives you a good buzz, and then you piss it out about an hour later. So it doesn't work great. I start my day with 3 phrases. I let go of or I release, I'm grateful for, and I will focus on. And I put body motions with it because when I get my body and my mind and my spirit all aligned, this is before I get out of bed, then it aligns the whole rest of the day. It aligns the whole rest of the day. Because as I go through the day and I'm faced with something negative coming in or a challenge or a struggle or just something that ticks me off, I can be reminded because my body already did this. My mouth spoke it. My ears heard it. My body was involved. My mind heard it. All that is a reminder to say, don't get off track. Because in the morning, I release. It's like a chain link, right? If you hold on to stuff from yesterday, it's going to chain link you to it. And you'll carry it with you like a burden into this day. Good. So in the morning, I just say, I release from yesterday. I release my frustration with a credit card payment that didn't go well, whatever it is. 1, 2, maybe 3 things. It's not a laundry list. Just a couple of things. I release, and then when my hands are free, I'm open now, right? Because I've released all the crap from yesterday. I'm grateful for, and I bring it to me. Yes. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for a job that gives me freedom and autonomy. I'm grateful for my daughters and my wife, whatever it may be. I'm grateful, John, to your point. I'm sorry to hear about the loss you're experiencing with friends of the family. That stuff happens. And your family is responding in kindness and compassion to that other family. But in that, you can find a moment. I'm grateful for what I do have. And so I
Yes.
bring that to myself. And now that I've let go of stuff and I've brought in goodness into my life, into my mind, into my body, into my spirit, then I can, and I know it's cheesy as hell, but it works. I focus, right? Binoculars, focus in. I focus in on one, two, three things. Again, not a laundry list. I'll focus in on the couple of things that are going to make the biggest difference in my day, whatever that may be. Maybe it's a work project. Maybe it's a tough conversation I have to have with a friend, whatever it may be. But that fuels me all the way through the day, because if stuff comes up, no, I focused on something. That keeps me on track, on point. And when I start my day like that, and I've been doing this for about a year, working this habit into my morning routine, it has changed my day. It doesn't mean that frustrating things don't come up. It doesn't mean that things happen. Oh God, man, why is this going on?
Yeah.
But those simple motions, those simple phrases lodge literally in my body, in my mind, so that throughout the day I can bring that to the top. I can bring it right back in focus. It's an amazing thing. I urge you to try it for 7 days in a row. See if something doesn't happen for you.
Like
Brother,
that.
I just got it. Holy Toledo. That is so powerful. And the thing that just is so remarkable to me is it's so similar to some of the things that I do. I'm so grateful that you are here today, because I'm going through a tough one. And to hear someone just basically explaining how something like that works for them, it just makes me feel like I'm doing the right thing. And today's one of those days. I'm looking for a signal. I'm looking for the universe to tell me, yes, you're pointed the right direction. Keep going. And shit, it's 5:35 in the morning, and I just got my signal. So, brother, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And that's the key point of these negative things that happen, right? Your weekend was hell. I was just listening to y'all for 10 minutes. I'm like, holy cow, he's having a hell of a weekend all the way into Monday. This is a tough deal. And what I've found is working with all these people is we expect these negative things. They're not supposed to happen to us because we've created this world where everything's supposed to go our way. But the thing is, negative stuff, adverse challenges, they're supposed to happen. We live in a really crazy, messed up world, right? And so the key that you're doing, John, that I saw, and I want to applaud you for this, and it worked for everyone, is you found meaning in it. And you find meaning in it when you connect with something that's big with you, the universe, right? The universe is showing you this has happened. What are you going to do? Not about it. What are you going to do with it? It's for you. It's not happening to you.
Yeah.
It's happening for you. It doesn't diminish the grief and the mourning that family's going through, not at all, or that you're experiencing. But what you're doing is you're pulling meaning from it instead of curling up into a ball and going, oh, God, this sucks, and God's against me, and all the other negative stuff that will swirl around into a whirlpool. You're finding meaning in it. You did that with the text to your family, right? You're pulling meaning from this negative circumstance, and that connects you to something bigger, to the universe, God, higher power, whatever you want to call it. But when you connect with something that's outside of you, you have made the greatest connection because it gives you into a new moment. It puts you into a new energy that wasn't there before.
Brother, I got to say, it's just number one, thank you so much. I have a saying I repeat to myself all the time, and I repeat it to others as well, is life happens for us, not to us. And it's easy to say that, but in the moment, sometimes it's difficult to execute it. And I was really digging to honor that phrase. And I cannot tell you how thankful and grateful I am to hear me and point out that because it's just allowing me to know that I'm on the right track today. It's who you are, but at the same time, you're in that troubled space. Call it a moment of weakness, call it a moment of lack of clarity with all the shit going on. To hear you come in and say that, it was that button, that last button that needed to be pushed in my mind that says, yes, keep going. So thank you.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. You're very welcome.
You're hanging out with Keith Billis, C Marty Fit, John Anderson, and our guest, Dr. John Page, here in the center stage segment. And listen, we are going to continue our conversation with Dr. John Page here. But before we do that, we're going to listen. If you're starting your day today, you've had a tough weekend. One of the best ways to get that mind free is to do it with a walk. And coming up right now, we got C Marty Fit. It's going to take us some things to think about as you're going for 3 tips to maximize your walk with C Marty Fit. And then we're going to come back for a few more minutes with Dr. John Page. And then I can tell already, guys, he's going to come back again for more nuggets. Dr. John Page. Marty, you're up, brother.
All right, let's rock. Let's get it. All right, we got the fitness tip for today. Like Keith said, we're going to talk about walks. So most people waste their walks. So in the next 90 seconds, learn how to turn your daily steps into powerful fitness multiplier. All right. 3 science back tweaks that change everything. Now, set a step goal. All right. You got to have a goal with it. You don't want to just aimlessly walk or just walk a little bit more this day, walk a little bit less this day. Set a goal. Aim for 8,000 to 10,000 steps daily. And tracking is going to keep you motivated. It's going to keep you on point, and it's going to keep you accountable. And hitting this target reduces heart disease risk. All right. The next thing to add, intervals. Speed up 1 to 2 minutes every few minutes. This is going to burn more calories. This is going to improve your cardiovascular health and keep things interesting. Remember, when you're walking or running or whatever your exercise is, you want to get better. You want to improve. That's going to increase your health, and it's going to get you in better cardiovascular health, like I mentioned earlier, and it's going to burn more calories. We all want to burn more calories as we get older. And then lastly, use hills or inclines. This is my favorite one to talk about right here. You can walk on a hilly route. You can walk on the incline on a treadmill, go on a hike, right? This is going to strengthen your legs and boost your calorie burn as well. So the last thing about incline walks, if you can help it, try not to hold on to the rail. All right, try to walk without holding on to the rail. Another topic for another day. But with these small tweaks, walking can boost both physical and mental health. Keep it purposeful. Keep it consistent. That's the fitness tip for today.
Every single day, 8:30 Eastern time, C Marty Fit. Fitness tips to help you kick ass through the day. Hey, good morning, Riff Raff. Good to see you in the comments. Good morning, Jack. Again, Raymond Walker. That's all, folks. Hey, Raymond Walker, good to have you here. Thanks for having me. Seems like a dope channel. This is a dope channel. Please hit the subscribe, like, and share with your friends. Tell everybody, 8 o'clock Eastern time, get your ass out of bed. And don't hit the snooze button. Rick, good to see you here this morning. Let go of, I like this, Rick. Let go of 1, I released from yesterday. 2, gratitude for all that is good in life. And number 3, set my focus like binoculars on the top 1 to 3 things. Wow. Thank you, Dr. John Page, dropping nuggets here this morning as well. And I see you all on the horizontal feed as well, nation. So I see both on the horizontal side. I see on the vertical side. We're here this morning with Dr. John Page. Listen, let's get deeper. Dr. Page, leading in today's market isn't just about metrics. It's also about meaning. You work with a lot of professionals who are killing it in business, but struggling to integrate deeper purpose into their work. Dr. John, what's the disconnect that you see when you work with your clients? Where's the gap between success and significance? Dr. John Page.
I'd say there's 2 things. One is self-sabotage. You call it whatever you want, imposter syndrome, that they feel like they don't belong or they shouldn't be there. But they'll do things that will embed them in their past patterns, right? They want purpose. They have a purpose deep inside them, and now they've reached a position. Maybe they're a manager, a director, VP in the C-suite, whatever it may be, and they feel afraid because they can't really truly be themselves. And so they're putting out this false self to fit in with the boundaries that are there. And so they're losing their purpose, and they know they're losing their purpose. And so they give themselves negative self-talk. I'm such a loser. I didn't stand up for what I believe today. I'm just a shill for the money. I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And that puts them in a spiral and puts them further away from living in their purpose. When if they were just their true, authentic self, that purpose comes through and people will respect that. People may not like you or agree with you, but they will respect you if you stand for what it is you believe in, whatever that may be. When you are wishy-washy, if you're milquetoast, people can see that. It's like having AI do your comments on LinkedIn or whatever. People know it's bullshit. They know it. They know it's fake. They know it's just manufactured. It's corporate lingo, blah, blah, cotton candy, fluffy puff. People don't want that. People recognize that. They could get fluffy puff at the state fair. What they want is you.
Authenticity.
Yeah, and it's got to be real. And if you're not aligned in your purpose, why am I here? Why am I doing what I'm doing? If it's just about making money, fine, that's cool, but that's only going to last you so long. You've got to be about something else. You've got to be about a higher value. And if you're not living that, you're never going to get to your purpose. That's what I see in people. They sabotage themselves to fit in.
Well, go ahead. Sorry. You know, so fast, Dr. John Page, what you said, and I kudos to producer Flynn, what I'm going to say next, but she said, hey, Keith, check out the Martha Stewart documentary or the show over the weekend on Netflix. And I did. And I bring it up for two reasons. How authentic she is as a human being and the success she's had as a result of it. Right. So there's three people I'm going to throw on the table right now that are super authentic, and one a lot of people don't like, but that's okay, because what happened last week, there is not perhaps a more authentic human right now in North America than Donald J. Trump. An American. No, and I'm not trying to put political. I'm just saying that he showed up and said, this is who you either like me or you don't. And a lot of people said, yeah, we like you, so we're going to vote for you. There is truth in that there. The authenticity, like me or not, I'm putting it out there. Dr. John Page. Marty.
I was just going to add quickly, and when you are authentic, this applies to everybody, but it applies to Trump too. Even if people say crazy things about you, it's going to make those who liked your authenticity like you even more, no matter what. I don't know why that is, but it made people love him more anytime something came out about him.
But it's true, and I don't want to offer color on whether it's right or wrong. I purely want to stand what Dr. John Page said, which is a lot of people struggle with imposter syndrome. Martha Stewart, Snoop Dogg, and Donald J. Trump do not struggle with imposter syndrome. Not one of three. They don't. They're like, here's who I am. Here's what I'm all about. You either like me or you don't. If you don't like me, then it's okay. You can go over there. And Dr. John Page is power in that, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. Look at what's happened with Snoop Dogg. Yeah. He was the mascot of the Olympics.
Yes.
These are world-class, best athletes in the world. And what everybody remembers is Snoop Dogg everywhere. Yes. Right? Because he was ostensibly Snoop.
Yes.
He wasn't being anything else. He wasn't fitting into NBC's Olympic, you got to be a broadcaster in this way. Yep. He dressed how he dressed. He said what he said. He did what he did. He went and did whatever he wanted. People like that. And they gave him that job because they knew he would be Snoop.
But that sets the tone, though. And again, I just don't want to make this political. I just simply want to set the stage. That just continues to set the tone for authenticity. If you're going to watch the Olympics for 2 weeks and watch Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg be absolutely real, then how are you not going to vote for some person who's real? I'm just sorry, because you're being conditioned to do that.
Yeah.
Like you are. That's just the fact of the matter is, okay, that person's real. So however you vote, I don't care. But when you see authentic people show up in front of you, we tend to gravitate towards authenticity. Don't we, Dr. John Page?
Yeah, absolutely. Because you think about the person who's mattered in your life outside of your parents, okay, outside of your family, a teacher, a coach, a mentor, a business helper, whatever it was. Somebody in your life, probably one, maybe two people, they mattered to you because they were who they were. And you saw that. And it mattered to you because what they showed you was you can be who you're supposed to be. You're a man from this background with this knowledge and this stuff. You're a woman with this background and this knowledge, this stuff, whatever it may be. But they showed you don't have to conform. The world is filled with status quo. We have a lot of status quo. It's boring.
Yes.
The people who stand out, the people who matter in our lives, who make an impression, who make impact in our lives, are those who are in some way unabashedly and unapologetically, that's a big word for a Monday morning. Jeez. They are who they are.
Yes. Yes.
And we look at that and we're jealous. We're like, God, I wish I could be that real. But we're afraid. That's what I see in people. They're afraid to be who they really are, because if they are, people will judge them. They'll look down on them, whatever.
Yeah.
And my thing is, just if you're quirky, embrace the quirk. Don't quiet your quirk. Be quirky. Be weird. Keep it weird. But just be you. People like that.
And you, Dr. John Page, I want to say this to you, man. I invited you to this show and I saw you in the comments on LinkedIn because I love who you are as you. And I know we had a little technical problem this morning and we missed out about 12 or 13 minutes with you. Flinner, we got to get Dr. John Page back. Marty, John, this guy, I can just tell he's got nuggets just loaded inside of his body to throw onto the table. So I would love to invite you back next week, the week after, sooner than normal, actually, because I want to continue this conversation with you. I believe you have a lot that you can offer our audience. You've just dropped nugget after nugget, but the most important nugget, I can tell you right now, cotton candy fluffy puff. Dude, like that's got t-shirt merchandise written all over it. We got Flinner dropping in with the comment of the day. We got Mike McQuillan dropping in with comment of the day. But Dr. John Page, come back and hang out with us again sometime, will you? And how can Business Athlete Nation find you, connect with you, and where can everybody get a hold of you right now?
LinkedIn profile, Dr. John Page. It's right there.
Awesome. Will you come back and hang out with us again? We got to keep the show rock and rolling here. You'll come back again and hang out with us?
Absolutely. This is the best Monday morning I've had in months.
There we go.
Listen, there's a standing invite for you to come back, but you got it. So since we're all friends now, you just got to figure out how to control the camera at the beginning of the show there. And don't take advice from Anderson because he'll just set you. He'll make you look that way.
No, I like it. It's cool. Yeah.
Hey, Dr. John, would you say I could get fluff at the fair? I like that.
You can get cotton candy at the fair. We don't need
There
it
we go.
else.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, nation, go connect with Dr. John Page on LinkedIn. And I promise all of you, we're going to have him back. We just did not get enough time with him. So we're going to get him back next week or the week after and dig into more conversation. He might become the resident pastor because I don't get the sense that Dr. John Page is like a traditional pastor, Marty. So I know exactly.
No, the one thing that people have told me at place after place, they're like, you're not like any pastor I've ever met. And I'm thinking, thank you. That is the best thing you could say to me.
It's a compliment.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
No, he's actually saying, shit, no, I'm not the regular pastor you think that I am.
You get me started on pastors.
Oh, God.
Let's get Anderson on stage. Let's see what camera he looks at, Marty, for the lifestyle tip of the day. And then we got Jory Jansen joining us for some good food to put in your belly. Dr. Page, have a good one, brother. We'll see you in the feeds, okay?
Have a good one, Dr.
Take
John.
care.
All right. Take care, guys. All right, Johnny, you're up, brother.
All right. The lifestyle tip for the day. I'm having a rough one. My wife's best friend, daughter, passed away over the weekend, and we're dealing with it. And this morning came, I've been fighting off tears. I did not want to get up. I did not want to show up. I wanted to stay in bed. I wanted to disengage. But when it comes down to it, I know that I needed to get up and I needed to show up, not only for me, but I needed to show up for my wife. I needed to show up for our friends' family. I needed to show up for our daughters. I needed to reach down and be strong and do what I needed to do, even when I didn't want to do it. And what I'm getting at is sometimes you just have to do what you don't want to do to support yourself and your loved ones. So just remember, it doesn't have to be your best day. It just needs to be another day you show up. Rock and roll.
Nation, you got to find a way to show up. Today we're showing up for our friend, our brother, John Anderson, and his family and his friends. Tragic loss. And we talk about the power of showing up, and that's what we do here every single day. So if you're struggling yourself listening to this, where you can find some love, or you can find friends, or you can find family. 8 o'clock, Monday to Friday, Eastern time, right here. If you're struggling to get yourself out of bed, I invite you. Come lean on John. Come lean on myself. Come lean on Marty. And don't put the feelings in the closet. Bring them to the table. This is a safe space that we welcome you to help you move forward. Because as Johnny said, you got to find the power to show up, to celebrate those that are unable. And on a day like today, on Veterans Day and Remembrance Day, when we honor those who showed up before us to give us the freedom to do what we're doing today, that's showing up. All right. Jory Jansen coming into the lab here this morning. We're going to twist the momentum over here. We got Jory up on stage here. Jory, good morning, my friend. Good to see you here this morning.
How are you, Jory? Always wonderful to see your smile.
Yeah. And
that smile brings a nice essence of love into my life. So thank you.
And I know this is going to put a little smile on Johnny's face too, and he's probably going to drop something when I bring the sound up. There we go.
Oh man.
Jory, you sent me a text last night. I was out to grub with the family. You're like, what are we talking about today? Yeah, what are we talking about today? And she's like, the holidays are around the corner. I'm like, yeah, they are on the corner. It's funny. And I was like, they are around the corner. And she's like, maybe we should talk about what we should be eating for the holidays. And I thought Thanksgiving weekend was coming up this weekend. Just like I thought fucking Clocks Day was a week before, and George's like, no, it's next weekend. So what we thought we'd do, Nation, was over the next couple days here, and we're going to see how it's going to go. But we're going to start today talking about setting you guys up for success to eat over the holiday season. Because you guys know how I kicked off the segment a number of minutes ago. Everybody's inviting you to Chili's and every other restaurant under the sun, Jory, for 50% off here, 70% off there, 80% off here. But nobody's inviting you to the vegetable stand or the chicken stand for 25% off. So, Jory, let's take some time this morning to give our listeners some advice on how to make some good choices this holiday season. Let's keep it right.
I think there's a bit of an unintentional theme here today. The holidays isn't always festive for everybody, right? And coming from a dad who is a meat cutter to pastor to security guard, just going through highs and lows in family. Holidays weren't always easy. I remember for one Christmas, we were told us 4 kids weren't going to be having Christmas presents. And the miracle was I got a new gym bag under the tree. And that was the best gift. And I remember that Christmas the most, right? This season isn't necessarily the season for happiness for everyone, but finding the joy. And when it comes to nutrition, and I say this all the time, I was chatting with some figure skaters over the weekend, and I always say, and I believe it, nutrition isn't everything, but it plays a role in everything. And so it's more of picking your battles over the holiday season. Everyone's scared of the 5 to 10 pound weight gain that happens over the holidays because in the US it's Thanksgiving and immediately if you celebrate Christmas or any other festival over that time frame. It's really only the evidence shows it's 1 to 2 pounds over that time that we increase. The challenge is that those 1 to 2 pounds don't necessarily come off over the years. That's what matters. And so it's like figuring out what are a few things that you can do? And a couple of simple things is a lot of times it's buffet style, right?
Yes.
When you go to homes, it's fill your plate. And I always say this to my high performance athletes when they go to, when they're playing at the games, at the Olympics, it's like crazy buffet style. It's like eyes wide open. And it's, you know what, you have a bit of time, scan the room first. It's not avoiding, it's find what do you really want, make sure you get that versus filling your plate. And then you get to what you really wanted to get in that room. So now your plate isn't just filled, it's layered.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so it's just making some wiser decisions. How many meals are you eating out? What are you doing in between? Are you still hitting the gym? Are you going for that walk after the meal to bring the blood sugars down to for mental clarity? Are you giving yourself that 10 to 15 minutes before you go for the seconds or thirds to be like, am I hungry or am I just enjoying the moment? So just figuring out a few things that you might want to focus on. Are you really hungry or are you dehydrated? Those sort of things.
How about those that don't eat all day, Jory? And I got to be honest, there's some Christmases I'm that dude at my mom's because I'm like, my mom's going to sorry, Marty, just admitting it, man. I just know I'm going to mom's and I'm making this one meal I make only once a year. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to eat all day so I can go crush it. So Marty,
the moms make you feel bad for not eating it. Do you not like my cooking?
So how do we deal with that? How do we tell our men to go politely tell mom that I'm not having as many pierogies today, mom?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
I think one of the big things is really showing appreciation for what's been done. Once you show appreciation, that's what I'm looking for when I've done something. I'm like, just feed me my emotional support right now that you love what I've done. And so I think that's the biggest one is just showing appreciation.
Can I back that up real quick, Joy? It's these situations in these meals are about getting together to share the people and the love that's at the table. It's not loving the food, it's loving the people. The food is just like the icing on the cake. It's not the cake.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like the food too, though.
Yeah, but
And the cake.
But you're a fat kid. There's never enough cake.
Well, wait a minute. Yes, I can relate to that. Actually, I was certainly the
I
fat
am too.
kid.
I'm not throwing you under the bus by yourself.
No,
we
dude,
do it together.
Yes, I know. It's there's cake. I want some icing over there. But Jory, so what you're saying and giving some great advice is when you get to the buffet table, try to load the greens first. Try to choose the broccoli. Try to choose the Brussels sprouts. But the problem is, Marty, is mom makes the broccoli dish just covered in cheese and cream and all the great extra stuff that goes on to the broccoli. And you're like, I just shouldn't eat the broccoli.
Offer to bring something.
So there's a tip for Nation.
Here's another thought is when you're getting ready to eat all this stuff that that might make you feel poorly, think about how are you going to still feel how are you going to feel in an hour when you're still wanting to engage with these wonderful people? Are you going to be happy doing that when you got a gut ache because you ate a bunch of shit or you ate too much or whatever it is? Stay focused on the purpose of the get together. The idea of the get together is not to eat so much that you all feel like shit and you go looking for a couch.
I think it is though for many people. Actually, it's like
that's what it's come down to. Yeah, that's what it's come down to. Literally, I remember as a kid, older brothers would be like, it was almost like the goal. They ate so much, going to the couch was like the finish line, and it just comes down the line. It's what we learn, and one way or the next, I think it's fun to have these conversations. Oh, I ate too much, but when it comes down to it, what does that do? It to a certain extent, it removes you from the situation, and the whole situation is to be thankful and to experience your loved ones, and the food should just be a little accent to the situation. Not to say that you can't have a few bites of mom's broccoli with the cheese, just don't fucking eat too much.
This is going to be fun because we didn't run this morning show last holiday season, but as we're approaching the U.S. Thanksgiving and the holiday season, I think, Jory, we're going to have a lot of fun with this segment over the next number of weeks with Johnny and Marty and myself and everything, and talking food, and because there's so many ways people dial it, and I'm one of them. And it's okay, I'm not going to eat for a few days and go crush mom's pierogies, or I'm just going to go and eat some broccoli, or I'm just going to.
So you hear that too. I'm not going to eat for a few days before this meal. What the hell is wrong with that?
I know, but it's funny. So it's going to be humorous, I think, as we go through the next number of weeks and having this conversation, because people will tell themselves stories, right, Jory? And we all tell ourselves stories on how to get through food over the holiday season. It's incredible.
Family gatherings can already be stressful.
Yes.
Take food out of it, right? If there's something that you can feel like you're bringing in terms of self-care for yourself, it's not about avoiding, it's just being wise.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? Using your past to create wisdom for the future, and how do you want to set yourself up for success for that particular event? And maybe one is, maybe I'm not going to drink alcohol all night long. Perhaps I'm going to choose between an alcoholic beverage and the dessert, and it's not an all or nothing. You can probably have a little bit of both if that works for you. But what can you feel proud of at the end of that event, that you brought a better version of you than you did last season?
Yes. All right, the protein break, a fun little conversation this morning, a little shorter than normal with Jory today, just talking some food topics. We're going to keep Jory. We're going to keep her on. Obviously, we got her back on Wednesday and Friday. We're going to keep giving you guys nuggets to help you through the holiday season, help you guys eat good, help you guys hit those nutritional goals. We're going to say goodbye to Marty here. He's got to rock and roll out of here. But Jory, quickly before we go, what do you got plans for today? Today I know is Remembrance Day here in Canada, or Veterans Day there in the U.S. Anything you want to say before we walk out of here today, Jory?
It's going to be a good day, a little bit family time, and my husband's in England still, but with my daughter, but also have a little bit of work, which is great. I've got this really cool event I'm working with just to support, not like the typical athlete that you think of, but these are like aesthetic performers.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're going to have a 3-hour retreat we're planning for next Sunday for them. So we're just working on.
Oh, fun. Awesome. We always appreciate you joining us here, Jory. Thank you very much this morning for hanging out with us.
And Jory, thank you for always bringing such great information, but such a wonderful energy to the morning for us. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And John, take care.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys.
Take care, Jory.
All right, Jory.
All right, guys. Listen, I know Marty's got to rock and roll. Marty, you go get after brother today. I know you got to get out of here when you go and kill your day, brother. We'll see you back here tomorrow. And while Marty's walking out of here, we are going to bring in our friend, our producer, the one who loves to mix it up with this sound effect.
See y'all tomorrow, man.
Marty, we'll see you, brother.
Yep.
See you, brother. Have a great day, brother.
If y'all haven't checked out Christina Flynn's LinkedIn profile, I invite you to check out the new profile, the new banner, the new words. She is fucking on fire. And listen, if you're an executive
who has a bunch of experience, and you're like, yeah, I've done some shit in my life. Yeah, I got some accomplishments in my life. Yeah, I got this experience, but I just don't know how to monetize it. You might want to talk to Flynn. Oh yeah, she's gonna unpack you. She's gonna make you more money tomorrow than you made yesterday. True story. Flynn, let's get after it, girl. Personal brand bite, Christina Flynn.
How do I know? I'm doing it myself. It's fun to teach the things to other people that you have learned yourself. All right. Today's brand bite. Stop searching outward. The answer is within. Here is the hard truth. For years, I was searching for someone, something to save me from the agony that I felt every day. I'd spent thousands on courses, communities, products, hoping to find the answer, to figure it out. I was literally addicted to information, but I was searching in the wrong direction. It wasn't until I worked with a self-worth coach. Her name's Rosie Milsom. She's on LinkedIn. That I learned the answer wasn't out there at all. It wasn't in any of the things I was searching. I didn't need more information. The answer was that it was within me, and it's within you. I went inward and I found a belief that I had carried since I was 4 years old, that I wasn't worthy or valuable just as I am. If I accomplished nothing in this world, I was not worthy and I was not valuable. And that belief had quietly dictated the choices throughout my entire life for decades. It made no sense until it made so much sense. So here's my message for you today. No course, no coach, no cohort, no single piece of information will be your holy grail. You're not going to figure it out. What you're really searching for, it's inside of you. So do yourself a favor, save your money, and start there. Yes, it really is that simple. I have entered my no fucks era, and I promise you, if you take today's brand bite into account, you will be one step closer to entering yours. You got this.
Flynn, the personal brand bites every day, top of the hour. Brand advice. Listen, you all have a personal brand. You all have that experience you've accomplished and achieved over the years. Do something with it. Unlock it. Monetize it.
It doesn't need to be icky. I know it feels icky, but it doesn't need to be icky. We've proven it.
Yeah. Listen, I told you guys there a few minutes ago. Martha Stewart, the original influencer, the original personal brand. Think about that.
Oh, gee. I did not know. Did not know.
OG. All right. Hey, you hear the sound. Yes, sirree. It's Morning Loop Reloaded. Keith Billis, Christina Flynn, producer Jimmy on the buttons, our good friend Johnny Anderson, and Marty. Marty's in the car, in the Jeep, driving off to Golds. Morning Loop, Mornings in the Lab, Keith and friends here on this November 11th, Veterans Day, Remembrance Day, the day we honor all of you for giving us all of this, all the freedom you provide. Richie Ingram, Joe Fontana, Mark Boer, Joseph Malone, all my friends in the U.S. military, Paul Riedner, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate all of you. All my friends in the Canadian military, appreciate all of you guys as well, guys and girls. You know, everybody who's helped us get the freedom we want here. All right, I'm going to keep the conversation going here this morning. Yeah. I'm going to...
Uncle Keith, what you got?
Christina, I think I'm actually going to do a little bit of a pivot this morning.
Oh, you're doing an audible on yourself?
I am, yeah, because I want to take some time, and I want to offer some time to my friend, to my brother, Johnny, to continue the dialogue. I think that as humans, sometimes the best way to get through experiences is to talk. And I want to take some time with Johnny right now and Christina and yourself and just talk. Let's talk about the young lady and Johnny, and maybe it's helpful to have a little conversation and how we process and how we move through things. And do we want to take a few moments to talk about this beautiful young lady in your life and what she meant to you and your family and so forth, Johnny?
Yeah, first off, I'm a big connoisseur of talking. I think that for me personally, talking just helps get the emotion out.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm obviously pretty overwhelmed with emotions. Having a conversation is always helpful for me, for sure. But I think that these things cause ripple effects, and they ripple into a whole bunch of people. And it's, I guess, what I'm looking at is as a call it a provider, a pillar of my family, is for me to look at, okay, you know what, I need to be me for my wife. And my wife is being herself for her best friend. And it's like this chain reaction of we have to be strong, even when It hurts even when you don't want to. It'd have been easy. It'd have been much easier for me to come on here and pretend that it's not happening. But that doesn't help me. It doesn't help anyone. And I think us being strong and being vulnerable, but being strong, I think is really helpful for anybody that's involved, not even in this situation, but for someone that's going through something similar that I don't know.
And I think, Johnny, that's why I wanted to have this conversation with you, is because what we are trying to do with this programming, with this show, is to introduce our audience, introduce men to a space where they can have the feelings that they have. Because, John, I think typically I was raised in a space, and I know we're the same age, where there's men in our peer group that weren't encouraged to do what you're doing right now. Christina, they weren't encouraged to show up. They were encouraged to show their emotion. They were encouraged to pull the Kleenex out. They were encouraged to go to work, not to show their feelings, not to talk about it, and to put it in the closet. And what we're hoping to do is to, and Nation, if you're tuning in right now, you're wondering, John's emotional. We've lost somebody. We've lost a member of the family here today in John's family. And John decided to show up today because that's what he does. And again, this forum is to encourage others that are maybe going through a similar space to do the same thing. Christina, how do you process some of this right now?
When we see a friend going through something, we tend to, one, feel empathy for them, and two, think about the similar situations that we've been in.
Yes.
And I think the first thing that I always do is say to my friends or my family that are hurting, I never like to start with advice. I like to start with, how can I help? And what do you need right now? And if you don't know what you need right now, that's okay too. I'll be here. And when you do, you let me know. Because a lot of times we, especially people that feel deep empathy, we want to fix, we want to make it better. And sometimes, to John's point, nothing makes it better. I lost my brother-in-law, died by suicide 2 years ago. And it was really like the first time in my life that I had to face that really hard reality. That was like, there's no problem to solve here. There's nothing I can fix. I have to just live and accept what is and figure out how to move forward and figure out how to be there for my wife and her family and all the things, as well as being there for myself. And I didn't do a very good job at that, to be honest, particularly in taking care of myself. So I appreciate the fact, John, that you're one here, because I don't know if I would have shown up, I'll be honest, when all that happened. So I think you're showing us a great example. You're always this like great example and model for us, but you're also showing that you do need to talk about it. In one way or another, our nervous system is at play here. The fight, flight, freeze, and all that is going on in your body, that energy cannot stay there in a healthy way if you don't deal with it. There needs to be a release, and there will be a release whether you like it or not. Your choice to make is, when you're facing a difficult time, do you want that release to be something that you control or something that your body controls and it just has to get out? And then it's not going to be positive. I can promise you that much.
Well, Christina,
so John, thank you.
What I'm appreciating about John is he's teaching us, Christina, what he teaches us every single day, right? He's responding instead of reacting. John this morning chose to respond. He woke up this morning, responded by showing up and choosing his words. And like you said, the reaction could be very negative, right? And but you made that choice, John Anderson.
And one of the things that when I was not wanting to get up, one of the things, and realistically, who I need to be for the most right now is my wife, because she's actually with her best friend and they're going to the actual place to grab the belongings. And so I just reminded myself, if I wasn't doing what I do, that my wife would, how could she not worry about me? And she's got enough to worry about.
Yeah.
So I need to do what I do so she can see that I'm okay enough to do what I do, because that gives she can focus on what she's doing. She's not sidetracked with, my goodness, he didn't get up today. That doesn't happen. So it was my duty to be strong so that I could show her that I'm okay, so that she can realize that she can take all of her love and all of her energy and pour it into her best friend and not have to worry about me. And so for me to do to suck it up was the best way for me to support her.
Yeah. Hey, you're hanging out with Keith, John, Christina Flynn here. Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends, the only morning show to help you guys get out of bed, not hit the snooze button, and hit those most audacious goals in your life. We are in the Morning Loop Reloaded segment, the top of the second hour, the unpredictable 50 minutes of your day. We're hanging out with our brother, our friend John, who's had a tragic loss in his family, and we're having the conversation, a safe space. And typically we would pivot to the in the gym. We're not going to do that this morning. We're going to keep the conversation going. And Christina, I can't believe you said what you said, because I had actually an article on my shelf here that I just pulled up. And Nation, there's two people I know that I don't know have more empathy in my life. One's my wife, Lauren, and the other one's Christina Flynn. And I had to learn how to be empathetic. It's a skill that wasn't come natural to me. But I got something that if you have a friend or a family member or a partner who you're looking to get closer to, I got 3 phrases that I'm going to offer you that are going to bring you closer to somebody who might need you or somebody who might be in need. And Christina mentioned one of them. I was like, holy fuck, I'm going to pull this one out right now. I'm grateful for the way you. And I can tell right now there's going to be a moment in the coming weeks for Terry. He's going to pause and look at John and say, I'm grateful for the way that you showed up during the loss. I'm grateful for how you were there for me and the family. And these powerful phrases, and Christina, you offered up here, I'm throwing to you here, where you said, as I brought you on stage a few moments ago, people, when we're going through loss, we don't know what to say. We don't know how to address somebody. We don't know how to bring somebody close to us. When you look at John, he's got tears. I'm like, what do I say to him? What do I say? I'm grateful for the way you is one of them that we're going to offer up to somebody. The next one, and I love you said this one, Christina, what would be most helpful for you right now? Christina, you taught me that one because we don't think about that often, Christina Flynn.
No, and I think oftentimes it comes from the discomfort that we have in, it's not, we just don't have experience, a lot of us, in this conversation because we were raised, many of us, in environments where this was not a conversation. And so just like we have to learn, just like you had to learn empathy, Keith, we have to learn how to have these conversations. And we need to first go to, like I said, not trying to fix it. Yes. It can't be fixed. And if it could be fixed, it's not our responsibility to fix it. It's our responsibility to look inward, say, this person needs me, and then ask them how you can be most helpful. I even like how you can be most helpful versus how can I help? Because how can I help is often responded to as I don't know. And I don't know is a great answer too. But what would be most helpful to you right now? I have had my wife say, just sit here with me. I don't know. Just sit here. And so sit there.
I'm very appreciative of this, Christina, because I'm a solver. Like, I just want to.
Me too. Trust.
And I see John nodding too. We immediately want to solve. It takes courage to sit down. And again, let's look at our brother, Christina, and say, what would be most helpful for you right now? And John might just say, you know what, just sit with me. Don't try to solve my problems. Don't give me the Kleenex. Don't try to tell me everything's going to be okay. Just sit with me.
That was one of the things that, when obviously this happened and Tara was, she was in shock. She's like, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel. I was like, baby, I don't think you're supposed to know. I don't think you're going to figure it out. I think just feeling is just do what you can to feel what's happening. And then we further our conversation, just looking at, man, thank goodness that our girls are all healthy, because people have kids that are not healthy.
Yes.
And people have kids that pass away. There's tragedy. And in these times, it just really shows us how lucky we are. And there's so much to be grateful for. It's when we're having this conversation, it wasn't to take anything away from what was going on and from the tragedy, but it's to have that different perspective helps gain strength to get through this tough time. So she can be more of a rock and a pillar for her best friend who is going through this. I just can't imagine losing one of my daughters. It would just be like over the top. And
I don't think any of us can, John. I have children, Christina does, and those that are listening, and that's why I appreciate what you're saying. And I think that's why it's important for us to be in this moment right now. I really do. Like, I think, Christina, it would have been easy for us not to go here, but this is life. And if we're talking about helping men achieve their goals, helping men not hit the snooze button, John himself admitted this. I don't know if I want to get out of bed today. And Christina, you yourself admitted I probably wouldn't have came to work today. I probably wouldn't have showed up. So I think these kind of conversations, we have to have these conversations, right? Mike Hawk comes in and says, I feel that empathy came as a result of us being a communal species for survival. I don't know. And I have a hard time arguing with you there. I think there's power in learning empathy. We also, I've been giving you guys something to think about, what 3 powerful phrases to bring you closer to your partner in a time of need and a time not of need. And this last one here, Christina, Johnny, is, and Christina, I've heard you say this before, I'd love to hear more about that. Right? So sitting down with somebody. So again, maybe sitting with John. If I'm sitting with John in a situation right now, is I'm offering empathy, I'm listening, and maybe at some point it's offering to John, I'd really like to hear more about that, and empowering John to open up more and to be more vulnerable. Because I'm only thinking at that point, Christina, it's giving John a more continued space to open up more to me.
Yeah, and all of these statements, they are, take them with a grain of salt. If you
Yes.
want to, if I'd love to hear more about that, doesn't feel authentic to you, say, hey, tell me more.
Yes.
These are not verbatim things. You get the idea. The idea is you want to show up for people. You don't want to fix their problems. You want to help them and be there for them in whatever way they need. And doing that and saying, I'm here and I have a space. And if you want to talk, like when you say, hey, I want to hear more about that, they may say, I'm not ready. That's not a reflection on you also, because I tend to do that as well. If you don't want to talk, I'm here trying to help you. And then I switch it on me. So it's not about you in that moment. Say, cool, whenever you are, I'm here. And if that day ever comes or it doesn't ever come, you've still done everything in your power to support that person.
Yes.
And on that level, for me, like we said a minute, we're all fixers here. And it was really difficult for me not to try to fix.
I bet.
And I basically I just came back to, what can I do to support you? She didn't know, I didn't know, but it was just that, hey, I'm here. And I can't say that she wasn't ready to talk. I just don't think she knew what to talk about. She was in shock. And I think just being next to somebody when they're going through that tough time and being ready to catch that tear before it hits the ground, so they know that you're there and you're there to support with whatever it is, I think is for me as a male, not to try to fix was a really big challenge. I really thank my lucky stars that I was able to have the insight not to do what I normally do, which is to try to fix, because that wouldn't have helped her at the moment, at the time when all this was going down. Is there really a right way to deal with this? It's just show the person that's going through the difficult time that you're there for whatever they need, and just take it one step at a time.
Good morning, Raymond Johnson. I see you there in the comments. Good morning, E-Bagging Nader. I knew Batman was in here. Yes, you got Batman right over here looking at you, brother. Good to have you here. We're talking with myself, John Anderson, and Christina Flynn. We're talking about dealing with loss. We're talking about dealing with tough times. We're talking about rolling over and showing up even when times are most difficult. What we're most importantly talking about, we're talking about our feelings in a safe space with our friend, John Anderson. John, did you get on with your day today, brother? What are you going to take through your day today, pal?
I think today's that day where I'm gonna keep showing up, meaning that I understand it may not be my best day, but making sure that I can, again, I just keep falling back on the fact that my wife is really going through the tough day today, because she's right in it. She's going to be in ground zero, and the best thing that I can do is to make sure that I continue to do what I do, so she doesn't have to worry about me. And because right now she's with her friend and they're going through the tough time, and the last thing that my wife needs to do is worry about me not being okay. So by me showing up and me doing the best that I can and doing what I do lets her know that, hey, I can focus on my best friend and what she's going through. And if I didn't get out of bed today, let's just say, she would be like, holy shit, what's wrong with him? That would have been big time selfish on my part.
So then, John, Marty, Christina, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so you say all that, and I love that. And I also know that you always say you need to deal with your own emotions too. So how do you do both those things? How do you do what you're describing, which is like just push through and make time and space for your own grief and what you need to do for yourself?
I think today I'm not really focused. What I'm focused on is being the rock for her when she gets a little deeper through this. And she's, again, this is the tough day right today. And so right now, I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about me continue to move forward so she knows that I'm okay. And that's today.
Take it. Thanks, Johnny.
John Anderson, I love you, brother. I really do. And I appreciate you being here today. One last question for you, pal, before I'd like you to get on with your day and continue getting after yourself and taking care of yourself. But I have to ask this because, again, there's guys starting their day and they don't know how to start their day. Did you still get up today and do your regular routine? Did you get on the rebounder, drink your water? You crushed it all, didn't you?
Yeah, it was fucking difficult for sure. And that's really what it comes down to. If my wife saw I wasn't caring for myself, she would know that something was really wrong. And so today, I always do it for myself, but today I was doing it more for her, no question about it, because I knew that if I didn't, that it would put an alarm off in her mind, and she's got enough alarms going off without having to worry about me.
Yeah. All right, my friend. Well, listen, we got comments coming in from Nation here before we walk you out, pal. I want to offer this up to you and your family. And we got Jack Dugan coming in here with Godspeed, my brother, praying for you and your family, peace and comfort during this hard time. Let me know if you need anything. Anderson, we got Doug in there in the comments are hanging out for you. You got those prayers. You got Joe Fontana offering you some love and offering you comments as well. And pros do the work when no one is watching and when they don't feel like it. And that's exactly what you are, John Anderson. So, brother, my love from my family to yours. You go take care of yourself. Okay? And Nation, you heard it here, man. You tell your family, you tell your friends you love them. I love you, brother. You take care of yourself today. Okay, pal?
I appreciate the support, guys. I love you too.
All right. You take care, okay?
See you tomorrow.
All right, so John is going to get on. And Nation, I know we're all feeling for him and his family today. And Christina, I cannot imagine what Terry and her friend is going through when we lose a child. Christina Flynn.
Yeah, I've seen it firsthand, and there's nothing really like it, especially like seeing my mother-in-law and what that must be like. And feeling deeply for that experience being being a mom myself. I can't imagine. And I don't think that is anything you can imagine until you've gone through it yourself, which is why sometimes it is hard in these situations to know what to do, which is why I think what you shared there in saying, I'm grateful for when you or for you, how can I be most helpful to you right now? Those are things that you can show up with, and they're easy to remember. Write them down now if you got your phone or a piece of paper. And they're not just for when someone around you has lost someone. They're also just day to day. If you want to show people that you love and respect them and they're having a hard time, and not make it about you, because that doesn't make us bad people. It just makes us human. Then, okay, those are some ways to do it. And I think those are really practical ways to do it.
Christina, and you know what? John's on his way now. We wouldn't be doing Johnny justice if we didn't take what he shared with us today and continue using it to teach our audience. And maybe there's somebody right now who's hasn't talked to a loved one in a while. Maybe today's the day you do it. Maybe today's the day you send a text. Maybe today there's the day you send a phone call. Maybe today there's a day you haven't talked to somebody in a while. We're like, you know what? I'm going to go reach out to that person today. Because as John always says, Christina, what's he say? How do we turn a tragedy into something positive?
Never let a good tragedy go to waste.
Right. And
I've never let a tragedy go to waste.
Yeah. And I've always, I don't want to say struggle with that, but I've always, wow, that's a heavy statement. But in many ways, it's no, but we got to keep moving forward. Right.
As long as you take I talked about it a little, like I had that mentality when we lost my brother-in-law, but I went about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, this is the kick in the ass that I needed.
Right.
But it was about me. It was like, put the barriers on, go full steam. Then I became desperate about making things work with my business, because that was going to be the reason why my wife would be okay, because it would fix all these answers. So knowing too that your first reaction might not be the right reaction, and that's okay. And knowing too that these are always things that you can come back from. When you know better, you do better. And if this is the first time that you're hearing about these things, and maybe you're looking back and saying, fuck, I should have dealt with that differently, you can still go back and deal with things differently if you're lucky enough, because sometimes we lose those opportunities when we lose those people.
Yeah, Yes, said Christina. And Joe Fontana, I see you here, brother. And I love your comment because I think this says it best, Christina. Joe says this: it's never too late to tell the people that you love them. And it isn't.
It can be hard. It can be hard. Listen, and I don't know about you. I grew up in a household where we say love all the time. Like before we're hanging up the phone, okay, bye, I love you. Okay, bye, I love you. Okay, bye, I love you. But that's not what everyone experiences. Sometimes even just saying I love you to somebody in your life. There's a lot of men in my life that didn't grow up saying that to their parents or especially their dads. It can't be about what was. It has to be about what is. And if that's not something that you experienced growing up, but you want that in that relationship, all you can do is control yourself. And don't live with that regret of not saying those things to the people that you love because it's hard.
It's crazy. Anyways. Even Joe says it here, right? It's especially harder for the ones that it's hard for. So like, I know, like, even with my father, I was aching for my dad to say I love you. And I tell my kids all the time that thing. And I tell my mom and dad that thing. And it's not uncommon where I'll send a message to John or to Marty. And as a man, I love you out of the blue. Like, what? Yeah, because, man, like, why not? Fuck. Like, why not?
If you feel it and it's real, like, what's the harm? The harm is, so here's the harm. The harm is that it's awkward. Or the harm is that they don't say it back. Or that there's a lot of harms. I don't want to underestimate the difficulty of that, but also you can't let the possibilities of those responses keep you from doing that either.
Agreed.
Know that they might.
Agreed.
It might not, but at least you've done your part.
Agreed. Flynn, obviously this wasn't the show we planned today, obviously. But you know what? I'm really okay with that. Because this is real life unfolding in front of us today. And like people waking up this morning who had a certain plan, they rolled over, opened up their phone. Oh, that's not how the day is going to go. So I need to have an audible and I need to adjust. So that, again, that's why I love the power of our morning show, Christina. It sets the stage, it sets the tone. It's the only place where every single day we all spend together, right? Because Fontana's waking up same time we are, Duggan's waking up. We're all coming together here in the morning, starting our day before we go throughout the day and then resume again tomorrow. So I love the power of this community we're building here. I know John left today feeling better because he showed up. I know John felt better because he communicated with us today. I know John felt better because he shared how he was feeling and he didn't hide his tears in the closet because we gave him that safe space to have this conversation. And then we have Nation tuning in, like Duggan and Fontana and all these folks just like and just pulling back the love.
Nader. Yeah, everyone.
There's this magic happening here through communication. So Duggan, I appreciate you, man. I constantly tell my son I love him. We got Fontana popping in and telling someone you love them is just as much for you as it is. You're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right.
There's nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. Duggan saying I want to raise him to be open and honest about his emotions. Absolutely. And
you talk about this, Jack. My kids are better with their emotion at 5 and 2 than I've ever been at 41. So yeah, we just have to do better with ourselves and with them, and we do that daily.
Yes, we know that your kids are better with emotion because
oh yeah, my son will tell you when he's pissed because he does not fuck around. The man is angry about his soother.
So we're taking a sad moment into a fun moment because that video, man, when you dropped it into my feed, your 2 feet standing there and the kid just going
like, what the fuck? That was day 6.
I know.
That was day 6, and we were just like, oh my Lord, what are we gonna do with this kid? And the best is he starts and you're watching, yeah, he's upset. And then my daughter comes in the background and says something and he just goes, wow. And he just starts all over again.
So good, so good. We got some great comments coming back and forth with this Flinner. We got Joe Fontana. My 14-year-old is far more emotionally stable than I'll ever be because of the work I put in his baby. Dude, I'm with you, Fontana. I'm really there, Joe. I've worked hard with my kids as well, just to keep communicating. I'm sure there's times Christina and Joe are like, Dad, really? We're gonna talk again?
Not right now. Yeah, even sometimes my daughter even looks at me at 5 and I'll be like, babe, you know how much I love you, right? You know how proud of she's like, yeah. I'm like, why? Okay, how do you know that? could you tell me every day, Mom? I'm like, yeah, you're right.
I said before, so I've been through divorce with my family, and it was extremely important to me that I over communicated with my kids. Yeah. I just fucking talked and talked. Okay, guys, it's time to talk again. They're like, really?
So your kids are older. That's something that I get nervous about. And I've talked about this. We all fuck up our kids in our own ways, right? Because every generation gets better, hopefully. Yes. So I've always thought that the ways that I'm going to fuck up my kids are in giving them all of the space to have their feelings in every situation, because that's not also real life. Like if they go out into the world and they get a job and a boss says do something and it's upsetting to them, they're going to say, I'm upset by that. And the boss is going to say, I don't give a fuck. Do it anyway.
That might be Joe Fontana. Like, what the fuck? You don't give a fuck. I'm here in Brooklyn selling fucking shit. You got your
right. And hopefully, maybe that boss doesn't exist, because maybe by that point, the boss. It's definitely not all the bosses I've had. The bosses I've had would be like, I don't give a fuck how you feel. You're going to do it anyways.
But you know what, Flinner? I'm going to debate you on this one, because I'm hopeful that. So my kids are older than your kids, right? So let's be hopeful that by the time your kids end up having my kids as their boss. My kids taught them that empathy, that kindness, that when Banksy or Bray showed up and they're like, yeah, my fucking mom took my soother away at 5 and I'm fucked up because of it. Carter's
don't even joke about that. It gives me scared.
Tell me about that. Tell me about how your mom fucked you up because they took the soother away.
I gave him to make my life more convenient. And then I took it away from him to make my life more convenient. It's so selfish.
It is so selfish. Oh, this is good. We got Fontana coming in back here with my son is 7, will turn 8, so we still love him, showing him with my now not hit the dad go away stages. Yes, Fontana. Yes. It's going to happen. Yes, but that's how that works. All right, Flynn, great conversation. Like really good, honest dialogue that I'm thoroughly enjoying. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to throw business and branding off the table today. I know you had a good topic to talk about. We're going to get to a purpose this week. But let's do this. Let's pivot to, I see you, Joe. That was Jack. Let's go to a segment that I know you and I are we're getting a lot of fun. Like man, this community corner segment, the creator spotlight shit that happening and people get celebrated. And that's how Dr. John Page ended up on the show. I see the person you threw on the table for today, this business to business dude, this champion networking guy. And dude, I see his profile. He's the baby goat dad. Dude, like we got another goat maybe on here, and he's a wizard in training. So I'm gonna pivot my attention to this camera right over here. And we are gonna pivot. Felix. Yeah. Post-production check here, Felix. Jimmy, today, the creator spotlight. Yeah, there you go. I see that change on the screen there. Today, we're going to feature somebody who's a B2B networking revolutionary. This fellow, Flinner, after 2 decades in sales, he looked at traditional networking and decided to build something different. Success Champion Networking, where real deals happen through genuine connection. Go figure. He's a community architect. While others focus on surface level connections, this fellow's building business families focused on mutual growth. No empty handshakes here. No pointless coffee meetings here. Just real collaboration that drives results. He's a farm life philosopher. I love that. Between running SCN and the Badass Business Summit, yeah, you're going to find him on his farm. Seriously, Flynn? Raising goats, chickens, and turkeys. I love this. Proving that success doesn't have to look like everyone else's blueprint. Hey, we need to get this guy connected with Daniel and Trinell. Daniel's got a farm too, man. That's all these farming folks, right? No, Nation, LinkedIn's not just for white collar
farmers are on LinkedIn too, y'all. Just like pastors are on LinkedIn. Y'all want to be like, oh, LinkedIn's cheesy. I don't want to do it. Farmers and pastors are doing it. So get your shit together.
Goats and chickens and turkeys.
Seriously.
Proving that success doesn't have to look like everyone else's blueprint. Flynn, today, Mornings in the Lab, the creator spotlight, we're going to shine the light on a farmer, somebody that's on LinkedIn who's a farmer. He's a baby goat dad and he's a wizard in training. Today's Mornings in the Lab, creator spotlight, hanging out with Flynn, hanging out with Billis. Drum roll, please. It is Johnny Brevin. Johnny, yes, sirree, the business to business network, B2B networking, badass business summit, baby goat dad. That in itself, Flynn, like any profile out there, you have baby goat dad, people go, hey, who's the baby goat?
Here's the thing, that's always tell my clients, I love to end the profile with something personal. So
Yes.
in mine, it's ADHD, because that's immediately, if you've got ADHD or somebody with ADHD, you're going to be like, oh, interesting. Like, you connect at a different level, our brain responds. Fucking, if you don't respond neuroscientifically to baby goat dad, do you even have a heart? I don't know. Immediately, I was like, I don't even care what he does. I don't even care what the event
Right?
says.
Boivin, we don't care what the hell you do. The fact that you're a baby
goats
goat
are
dad, we will
adorbs.
celebrate you and have you in the lab to talk about your baby. Hey, Flynn, maybe he comes to the lab, he can bring his goats with him.
Oh my God.
And then we can bring Jory on the stage and we can have like just goat sounds all over the place. But hey, listen,
Excited.
all joking aside, why are we deciding to celebrate Boivin? Donnie Boivin for today's Mornings in the Lab Creator Spotlight. Donnie, we're celebrating you, brother. Christina, why are we doing that today?
Donnie Boivin, because he's doing exactly what he says to do in his profile, which is like, things don't need to look and be the way that you think they need to look and be. They are what you make of them. And I think you don't think B2B and farmer go together.
No.
You don't think farmer and LinkedIn go together. You don't think any of these things. And to me, that's really unique and that's really intriguing. And that's exactly the kind of content that I hope we see more and more people getting into as creators, in saying, listen, I'm fucking unique. And I've been doing this for a long time. And I'm really great at sales. And I'm really great at networking. And I love connecting with people. And I'm a fucking baby goat dad. And I got a farm. So, like, those two things can live together. Don't tell me that you need to focus on one thing and one thing only. Because I promise you, if Donnie stopped talking about sales tomorrow, I'd still want to follow him.
Yeah.
I'd still want to pay attention to his content, because the dude has a farm and I don't. That's cool. That's cool shit. He's living his best life. He's showing us that you don't need to be about one thing and one thing only. And he's also showing us that you can take these really random, unique experiences in your life and bring it together to form a cohesive narrative about who you are and what you can offer and deliver to the world.
I love this dude. I love his content, man, because it's so not what you'd think.
And certainly not what you think on LinkedIn. I follow farm people on TikTok because I think it's so cool. It's so interesting to me. And this is the perfect thing. That's one of my clients would look at me and be like, that's not interesting. Who cares? I live on a farm. And to you, it's not interesting because that's been your entire life. But to me, I'm a city girl. I grew up in big buildings and not a lot of farm folks been around me. So I think it's super fucking interesting. So everything you do is super interesting to somebody that has no connection to that.
Donnie Boivin, on behalf of producer Christina
I love
Flynn.
how you're saying his last name, Donnie. I think it's Donnie Boivin. I don't know how to say it either.
Oh, so Donnie, I'm calling you Boivin because I'm we're both Canadian, but I'm saying it as Bois, or is it Boivin? So Donnie, I know Christina. Donnie, you got to join us in the show so you can teach Christina how to say your last name. Donnie Boivin, I love the work you're doing. I love the content you have on your feed, dude. You are welcome to hang out with us. Come bring your badass business attitude to the lab. Come bring the goat. Come bring the chicken. Oh, it's all actually, Phil, it's all protein.
Bring the goats.
It's all protein. Johnny's going to love it, man. Between the goats, the chickens, the turkeys.
No, I don't want to go there. I don't want, no. Talking about baby goats. Can we just stick to baby goats?
We're going to stick to baby goats. We're going to stick to baby goats. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to stick to baby goats and we're going to wrap up today's show. The show it was a fun show. We had Dr. John Page to kick the show off with us, and we had some technical difficulties getting the guy in for the first segment, but that's okay because we want to get him back. And then, so he's like the pastor who's not the pastor. And he dropped nuggets.
Yeah, I love that. You can believe in God and not believe in church. You can be spiritual without buying into the dogma.
Yes.
That's, to me, I think a lot less people would be a lot less anti. And listen, you're talking to me. I'm a gay woman. I'm super anti-church. So I get it. But there is a need, and people, whether you call that God, whether you call that the universe, whether you call like whatever energy, we know connecting to something deeper than ourselves or greater than ourselves has great benefits. And I think that's what he's doing.
I agree.
fun. I don't want to say it's a fun show. It was. I thought it was a good show today. It was a meaningful show today. It was a show laced in meaning. And you know what? You said it best. I don't even know if I could have showed up to. I give John courage, man. Props for doing what he.
I think I would now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's what the power of what John does is if he can do that, then he proves to others that you can do it too. And I think I would.
Yeah. All right. I think it's time to wrap up the show today. We had a lot of people hanging out with us today. Mike, John, Jack, Jerry, Joe.
Yeah, Tall T, Mike Hawk, Joe, Jack. There's a ton of fucking people in these comments too, and we are loving this.
I appreciate all of you guys.
World Punches. Dig it. We are here every Monday to Friday, 8:15 to 10:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come back, hang out with us. And candy, cotton candy fluffy puff. That's cotton candy fluffy puff. That sounds like something that would have been in Elf. Will Ferrell say that? This is my new favorite statement. Cotton candy fluffy puff.
Cotton candy fluffy puff is the way that we're going to walk out of the lab. Dr. John Page just left us something to hang out. When we finally get the store set up, Flynn, we're gonna have shirts with sayings all over the place.
So we're gonna sell cotton candy fluffy puff. You can buy it. But somehow we need to make it like not really shit for you. Has somebody figured that out yet?
Flynn, I appreciate you. Thanks for the great work this morning. Marty, I appreciate you as well. Anderson, lots of love, brother. Lots of love to you and Terry and your family. And to all of you tuning in this morning, I appreciate all of you. We're trying to do something crazy here. We're trying to create a meaningful experience that is changing the world. And we are doing it every single day at 8 o'clock Eastern time with all of you. And if you guys don't show up, we got nothing to talk about. So appreciate you guys.
We have a lot to talk about. We just will have no one to talk to about it.
True. Yeah. Our good friend, Adam House, is here tomorrow. We're going to talk with some awesome stuff in the House of Bricks, the greatest business community on the internet. Myself, Adam, Christina, John, Marty, and who else going to show up? See you guys tomorrow. Jimmy, let's get out of here. Oh, yeah. Zeglin's here tomorrow, too. See you guys. Bye, Flinner. Bye, Jimmy.
Bye.
See you guys.